I had the amazing privilege to get to hear Mr. Tony Kriz speak at our connection, Writers Connection. And I think my brother knows a little bit about being anchored in hope after hearing his testimony. I'm not going to give it away because it's his story, but I remember that night how much it touched me. Cornelia also told me that it's because of Tony that one of our keynote speakers is here. He kind of put a little bug in her ear about Sister Deidre. And so this brother he in the know. I like that. But more than that, he's more than the know. He is the author of Residence at Warner Pacific. He teaches there. He really believes in the power of community, and he does it in his own home. He also has an amazing book. I did buy his book, Neighbors and Wise Men, Sacred Encounters in a Portland Pub. Imagine. And Other Unexpected Places. Jesus is everywhere. He really is. So he told me not to tell too much about him, that he's chill, that he's a good person to be your first speaker, you know. He's been helping me out. He's like, do you know where the mic? Oh, you do. We need the mics. Tell me. Thank you, Tony. And he's also on our advisory board for Faith and Culture Writers, and we thank you for being a part of us. Come on, Tony.
Thanks, dear. All right. Okay. So, hi, I'm Tony. So not that long ago, it was a warm summer evening in Portland, Oregon. And it's probably about 8 o'clock in the evening. Still sort of the glow of dusk a little bit around. And my friend Wilson Smith calls me. And he says, hey, why don't you come downtown, we'll hang out for a while. So I hop in my rattle-trap Volvo, and I drive from North Portland into downtown Portland. And he wants to meet at Jake's Grill, which is down on 10th Street, not to be mistaken with Jake's Fish House, which is up on 12th Street, which is also an excellent establishment, but we were at Jake's Grill on 10th. And I drove in, it's really, really busy downtown, a lot of people around, hard to find parking, but I managed to find Princess parking just a block and a half from Jake's Grill. So I pull in, I get out of my car, and the smell of the Culinary Institute is in the air. And the sidewalks are full of people. And they are all addicted to their agenda and to their cell phones as they walk past me. And so I decide to return the favor. And I go straight about my business, and my phone rings. I pick it up, and it's my friend James, who I hadn't talked to in years, who was one of my roommates in college. I'm like, James, what's going on? We're chatting a little bit as I'm sort of weaving through people, and I cross the street, and I'm standing there by the train station, a little trolley car station there. I'm waiting for the light to change. I can see Wilson across the street through the large plate glass windows. I'm talking to my friend James on the phone. The walking man comes up, and I cross the boulevard. And I'm walking up to Jake's, and I grab the handle of that big brass and glass door, and I start to pull it, when all of a sudden, boom! This guy is right in my grill. And I'm looking up. He's a little bit taller than me, all gangly. He's got scraggly hair, and he's wearing a soiled flannel shirt and big boots. He's standing there, and I'm like, James, you're going to have to hold on for a second. Okay. I'll be right back. I promise. Hi. And the guy's like, hey, you got $1? Hold on. What? You got $1. Why? I'm hungry. And there's a pizza place up on 11th. They have good pizza. Do you have $1? Hold on. You're telling me there's a pizza place on 11th where you can get a slice of pizza for $1? Because if that's true, I want to know about this place because I like cheap food. And he's looking at me all like, what's going on? I'm like, you're telling me you can get pizza for $1? It's like, no. A slice of pizza costs $3.50. So do you need $1 or do you need $3.50? And he looks at me like I'm speaking Persian. He goes, well, I guess I need $3.50. I'm like, well, why didn't you ask for that? Hold on. So I'm like, with one hand, like digging through my wallet in my front pocket, I managed to cobble together 3 $1 bills and 2 quarters. And I place it in the guy's hands, right? His big old huge hands. I place it in, and he crumples his hands over the top of it. And his face just kind of breaks into daylight. And he turns and he starts to stomp up the street. And I'm like, James, did you catch all that? He's like, yeah. I go to grab the door again to go in to hang out with Wilson when I hear the boots again. But this time they're coming toward me with vigor. So I turn just in time to see the gangly man coming at me with one arm fully cocked. And he comes to me and he swings. And he catches me full on in the shoulder. And as he catches me, the cell phone flies out of my hand and lands 12 feet away from me on the sidewalk and busts in a little kind of explosion of plastic and electronic parts. And I'm like, that's my phone. And James is confused. And while I'm looking at it, I hear the sound. Like mourning and pain all wrapped into one as the gangly man begins to cry out so loud that everyone within half a block is staring at us. And I turn around and his knuckles are dug into the soft parts of his cheeks and he's screaming. And I grab him by both shoulders because my hands are free now. I'm like, dude, it's a phone. You're a person. That's a phone. You're a person. It's a phone. You're a person. Now, everything in me wants to stop the story there. Because if I stop the story there, you might think that I'm the hero of the story. You might think I'm a good guy who gives money away freely and wants other people to feel more human. Because that's what I want to do when I tell a story. But that would not be the best version of this particular story. That's a phone. You're a person. And the gangly man looks down at me. And he smiles. And he nods. And he winks. And tells me that I'm a person too. And then he turns and he walks away. Because he rescued me that night. I was the one addicted to my agenda. I was the one addicted to my cell phone. I was the one ignoring all the people walking past me. Because that's what I do. He saved me. Now, when my writer friends and I get together, and writers are weird, aren't we? Kind of find one another, and we all sort of become friends. So when we get together and talk, when we can kind of get past our poop, thank you, Newburgh Friends, for inviting us to be here. When we can get past our poop, we start to talk. We realize that in a lot of ways we are a very insecure lot. We like to drop into the conversation ways that we've been published. Name drop other writers that maybe we know. find ways to disperse our resume throughout the conversation. And one of the things we do is we make ourselves the hero of all of our stories. I am partial to a fellow named Jesus of Nazareth. I am partial to him. We live in a communal household in North Portland, and one of the things that we do is we talk about Jesus as a creative an awful lot. And Jesus was a pretty amazing creative. He was a woodworker. He was a winemaker. Come on. He was arguably the greatest performance artist in the history of mankind. But the thing he's most famous for is being a wordsmith. Jesus was a great wordsmith. And there's so many opportunities where he could have made himself the hero of stories, and he chose not to. The kingdom of God is like a treasure hidden in a field that I decided to go buy because I figured it out. One of the things that makes Jesus such a great wordsmith is that he could work equally well in nonfiction and in fiction. So in nonfiction, his first piece of nonfiction that we're really aware of comes from Luke chapter 4. He's giving a sermon in a synagogue. And Jesus has a chance to make whoever he wants to the heroes of the story. And who are two of the heroes he chooses? A widow of Sidon and a leper from Syria. Two people who are culturally other, religiously other, classism other. These are the sorts of people that he likes to make the heroes. Jesus was great at writing fiction as well, or parables if you're more comfortable with that term. We have recorded about 40 parables in the New Testament. I find it fascinating that after a lifetime of working with wood, untold thousands of hours sitting in a wood shop or however he did it, that there's not one parable about woodworking. Like all my parables or all my stories about things that I do, but not Jesus. He's like, it's not even worth putting my career sort of on display. I'm going to tell 40 stories about other people's careers, other people's vocations, other people's lifestyles, other people's stuff. And Jesus, possibly his most famous parable, he's asked, who is your neighbor? And Jesus tells a story of a religious other, a cultural other, a classist other. It's the way that Jesus does things, and it's so different than so much of what I see in our culture today in 21st century America, where we have cults of personalities. And it seems like all of us are just trying to find ways. I'll speak for myself. I'm always trying to find ways to put myself on display.